And today we're going to be looking at modals. Right. So if you haven't started yet, today we're going to complete unit 2. We're going to be focusing on modals. Now, if you have taken a look, you would notice some things. I'm going to focus firstly on our calendar. So this is what we have to do today. We're going to put them in one because they are the same basic idea. Should, ought to, will, would, must, and have to, they're all modals. So we're going to do all of Unit 2's activities in today's class, which means next Saturday, you guys get to take the Saturday off and enjoy your extended weekend. Hashtag Puente. All right. So the next time we will have class is the 12th, where we will review for units 1 and 2 for those who still need help before the exam expires, right? The exam is open now. If you've completed 1 and 2, then you can go ahead and do the exam. If not, make sure you at least are starting unit 2. There is already a forum that I activated today for you to complete. So go ahead and take it step by step. In today's class, we're going to be focusing on modals. Now, they are a little different in their uses, so I want you to pay very close attention so that you can practice here in today's class, then start your forum. Your forum focuses on the need to write rules for a forum, an online forum, like a chat room, and rules to a public exhibition like you would find in a museum or another place where art is displayed. Okay, so here, let's begin. Start up. My apologies. Seems like we have a lot of people trying to enter the room. All right, hopefully you can hear me now. Let me reshare my screen again. You should be able to hear me properly now. Good. So let's start with modals. They do the main work, but they tell the meaning of the sentence. So they're telling the ability, possibility, probability, obligation, permission in our sentences. Okay, let me just mute those people. All right. So you have can and could. Be careful with your microphone, guys. Can and could. They talk about your powers. The Spanish word that is equivalent is poder. Then you have the probabilities or permission, may and might. You have a little bit of the future and assistance and things like that with will and shall. Then you have the advice and recommendations, should and ought to. Then you have the obligations, the musts, the rules, must and have to. And then you have would, talks more in the polite form. It's like will, talks about the results of conditions, right? And just quickly a little recap. Equivalents for can and could would be poder, may and might, posible que, probablemente que. You have will, which is the simple future. Shall works exactly the same, but it's more old English. Should, ought to, debería. Must, this is the rule. Tienes que, for example. And would, gustaría, and things like that. All right, so focus on the different uses and let's go little by little through the options. Let me just make sure all your classmates are in, right? Admitting everyone. Don't forget to put your full names and groups in the chat. Yes, Jackie, I notice that there's a little bit of issues with your internet. Don't worry. Try to stay connected. Make sure you've registered here in the chat. All right, and everyone, as you join, make sure you register your full name and groups in the chat. Thank you so much. All right, let's start with you, Nancy. You were the first one in. When do we use can? And give us some examples.
Yes, can examples. I can speak 5 languages. We can work day to night if you do needers. Bill and Tom can help you. The restaurant can be expensive if you drink a lot of wine. If it can be dangerous to drive if you are tired.
Yeah, so be super, super, super careful. Let me just see. I'm missing Cassandra. She joined early, and I don't see her now. Where is Cassandra?
Yes, teacher.
Cassandra, all right, help us with could.
Cool. Examples?
Mhm.
Joy could speak Spanish when he was young. I could sleep last night. Could you play an instrument when you were a child?
Child. All right. So you notice both of these talk about abilities. Also, they talk about possibilities. Could is the past of can, and you can also use could for the future. All right. So that's could. Now, what about may and might? Here, help me out, Ever. When do we use may?
Meaning used to indicate possibilities in the future. Examples, I will bring an umbrella. It may rain later. It may be better to finish this now rather than wait until tomorrow. May is also used to give permission or instructions.
Good. All right. So let's go back up to the top. Can. Yo puedo hablar 5 idiomas. No es cierto. Puedo hablar como 3. All right. So that's what we use here. Can is for indications of ability and possibility. Could is the past. Yo pudo hablar español cuando era joven. Same idea, just in the past, in the inverse, or sometimes you can use it for the future. You know, could you play for us, please? You know, expressing something that you want to happen, right? You can also use it for conditional sentences and, you know, given instructions. May, while it's also the possibility, is more on the smooth side, asking, can I? May I? Right? And might is even more gentle. Itself, might.
Might, meaning synonym of may, indicates possibilities in the present or future. Examples: I will bring an umbrella. It might rain later. It might be better to finish this now, rather than wait until tomorrow. Might can also be used like may to ask permission, but this is much more common in British English than in American English.
All right. Now you notice those are, you know, nice ways of talking about probability, possibility, and ability. Now, what if you're talking about your action, what you will do next? We use will. Help us here, Michelle. Will.
Use the expression willingness or consent as we see in the letter sentence. Will is used to form the future tense. Example, I will help you. We will learn English.
Good. All right. So clear future, also used for giving or asking for information and asking for favors and asking for help or opinions. And it's used just like shall. Lorenzo, shall. When do we use shall?
Uses like will to express the future. The use of shall is much more common in British English and is generally considered more polite.
Polite.
Examples. Chris shall Chris shall be happy to see you. I'll take the 3 o'clock train.
All right. Now, this is when you start being courteous. You're trying to be nice. So you use things like shall, you might, gentle voice. Now, what if you want to express recommendations? The next one on our list is for recommendations. Sophie.
Indicates a recommendation or obligation or reflects an opinion about what is right or correct. Examples, I should call my parents more often. You should work so hard. They should practice more if they want to win the championship. Should is used in interrogative sentence to ask if there is an obligation or to ask for a recommendation.
Good. All right. Now, should in Spanish would be more like debería. All right. So you want to express the recommendation. It's not the rule, but it's very high, like a 50% all the time. This is what is expected. This is what is correct. All right. And of course, similar, we have a synonym. Not very oftenly used, but Laura, give me some examples of ought to.
Ought to. Examples. She ought to quiet smoking. I ought to call my parents more often. And they ought to work less.
Good. All right. More of the same, but is not used, is not common. It's more of a British thing. The opposite is true, or the superlative, you could even say, must. This is the rule. Laura Jimena.
Must indicates an obligation, provision when in the negative or necessary. In this, a synonym of have to in affirmative sentences. Example, you must have to read this book, it's fantastic. You must have to brush your teeth 2 times a day. We must have to leave now or we will be late. You must not drink and drive.
All right. All right. So this is 100%. This is a rule. Don't break it. This is how things should go. You also use it for what we call rhetorical questions. You don't expect the person to answer, but you want to make a point. Must you always be so late? Very exasperating. Must you talk so much? Must is also used for rhetoricals. And then we get to the gustaría que, would. It expresses something different. Hugo, when do we use would?
Would, meaning past tense of will, indicates preference, desire, or intention. Examples, she would like to go to New York someday. I would like a beer and my wife would like a glass of wine, please. Would you like some coffee? Would you help me, please? When would you like to go to the movie?
Good, right? So these are the different ways we can give meaning to our sentences, all right? Now let's do a little bit of practice. Starting with you, Liliana. Let's go up to number 1.
Yes, sería, can you help me?
Perfect. Paulina, number 2.
Yes, teacher. They will practice more. No, wait. I'm confused.
All right. Do you know how to say this in Spanish?
Ellos practican más si ellos quieren ganar. Ellos deberían practicar. Okay.
Mm.
They may practice more if they want to win the championship.
May, posiblemente, o posible, o es posible que, might,
They
should, ahí está.
practice more. Sorry, teacher. Yeah.
All right, one more time, they should.
They should practice more if they want to win the championship.
Perfect. All right, let's continue.
Yes, teacher. You might not drink and drive.
Might. Why might? Say it in Spanish to me.
Bueno, la oración dice, tú no debes tomar y manejar.
Is that a rule?
Es que ya se me olvidó lo que significa.
Entonces, cuando es 100% algo que es recomendable, pero al 100, we use must. Okay?
Okay.
This is what you need to do. Again for me, you
must not drink and drive.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Number 4. Let's continue with Esmeralda.
Yo always be late. Sería what?
Remember the rhetorical questions? Same thing with 100% obligation is the same thing we use for rhetorical questions. Must you always be late? What's wrong with you? All right? Because this is a repeated action from the person. Number 5, Emma.
Yeah, I would like to go to New York someday.
Exactly, expressing your intentions and desires. Good. Areli, number 6. Moran.
Yes, teacher. They should to work less.
Yeah, that's the trick. If it's should, you can't use to. The one you have to use is ought. Ought to. That's the formation. One more time.
They ought to work less.
Yes, it's a recommendation. They have to consider it for themselves. Naomi, number 7.
It be dangerous to drive if you are tired. It can be dangerous to drive if you are tired.
Good. And number 8, Jackie Martinez, can you hear me now?
Yes, teacher. Will you help me move?
Perfect. Good. All right, let's continue. Daniela.
Tenía Megan should play with the piano and the guitar.
Possible, but what about her abilities? What word do we use for abilities? Right? Ella puede tocar tanto el piano que la guitarra. Which one do we use for poder? Can. All right.
Okay, teacher.
Read it again. Megan can.
Megan can play with the piano and the guitar.
Good. All right. Number 2, Brian.
She started eating without me. I might be late.
Indeed, it's possible. Posible que voy a llegar tarde. Good job. All right. Amairani, I practice your name. I practice it. I did it well this time. Amairani Martinez. Number 3.
Is you can wear a helmet when riding your bike?
Sí, puedes. But is it a rule? Do you have to do it 100% of the time?
You must.
You must. That's the rule. You must have your ID or know your student number to come on campus into the faculty. You must put on your helmet when riding your bike, right? And number 4, Dani Nava.
Can you help me with my homework?
Yes. Yes. Now, these last 2 can be a little bit tricky, but yes, can is the better option. All right. Andrea Maya, number 5.
I know it's difficult, but we will succeed.
In the future, not would, not gustaremos tener éxito, vamos a tener éxito. All right, so that's the future. One more time.
I know it's difficult, but we will succeed.
Succeed. Good. Monse Morales, number 6.
Yes, that it looks infected. You might go to the doctor.
Esa herida parece infectada. ¿Es posible que vas al doctor? Sounds a little sarcastic, Monse. Deberías ir al doctor. What would be the appropriate one?
That could look infected. You should go to the doctor.
Correct. Francisco Bernardo, number 7.
Yes.
All right, we lost.
I won. ¿Sí me escucha?
Now I can, yes.
I won't eat I must eat my dinner last night. My stomach's hurt.
All right, the clue is here. Last night. Present, future. The only one in the past is ding, 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 the past tense of can, right? So, ayer no pude comer mi cena. Duele mi panza, all right? So, I couldn't.
I could eat my dinner last night. My stomach hurt.
Good, all right? Yunoe Hernandez, is your microphone working now? We lost you earlier. Can you hear us? Looks like she's still missing in action. Michelle Lopez, number 8. All right, it looks like the people here at the end of the list have lots of microphone issues. All right, let me just quickly go through these and then I'll give you the opportunity to volunteer. So number 8, you see, if he finishes work, this is a condition. Go ahead, Lorenzo, you think you know the answer?
Sería Glenn may come with us to the movies if he finishes his work.
Yes, it is. That's correct. All right, condition number 1. All right, and we have number 9, Liliana, and then number 10, Brian.
Yes, sería I would like to learn English someday.
Perfect. And Brian, number 10.
Is we had to break the window because we locked the case inside the car.
Perfect. All right. Now we have a lot of other uses, so you want to make sure you kind of practice it. You read a lot of different examples so you get the idea in your brain. For example, must and must not. These are some other uses: strong obligation, logical conclusion, certainty, 100%. Or if it's against the rule, you had the not, must not. Same thing as had better. This is the rule. This is my advice, right? We also know that we need to practice should and ought to, which is more on the recommendation side. And we need to also practice will and would, expressing wishes, requests, desires, speaking more courteously, all right, about the past as well, and in conditional forms. All right, let's get a good set of practice in. Go ahead and raise your hands, and let's finish up with some more practice. Who wants to try number 1? You'll have a clue at the top. You have to choose an appropriate answer. Volunteers, volunteers. Possible that Yune Hernandez's microphone is working now? Can you hear us?
Yes, teacher.
All right, you go ahead.
My
Number 1.
internet is so really bad. One question is they are able to speak Spanish well. They can speak English well.
Perfect, good, right? I saw 2 hands. Go ahead, raise your hands again. All right, in the meantime, let me see who did not get a chance to speak. I think Michelle Lopez. Here's your microphone working. Yes, Michelle, number 2.
Is Steve Steve minus die ule.
Good, all right. Now, give me those hands. I see 4 people put up their hands. Put your hands back up. We have some more options. All right. Danny Nava, Paulina. Danny, you get number 3. Paul, you get number 4.
Should I clean the kitchen?
All right. This person is saying, do I have to? Yo tengo que, which is very close to must I. Is the rule that it's me? Because should is yo debería limpiar, no tienes que. All right. So when you see have to, it's very close to must. All right. Paul, number 4. I got, and guys, you can raise your hand for the others. Yes, go ahead, Paul.
Can you drive a tractor?
Yes, ability can. Amairani, number 5.
Yes, teacher. Is we should not swim where the red flag is spinning?
Very close, but remember, this is the rule. So rules, we use must. All right, Laura, number 6.
Yes, she is not able to read Chinese. Sería she cannot read Chinese.
Good. Hugo, number 7.
Do you think we may park here?
Yes. Is it allowed? Liliana, number 8.
Yes, you need not do this exercise.
Perfect. It's not a necessity. All right. Well, the two people at the top of my list. Okay, Jackie, go ahead.
We have to stop when the traffic lights are red. We must stop when the traffic lights are red.
Perfect. When the traffic light is red. Good. Who wants the last one? Angel Eduardo, come on. Practice makes progress.
Yes. I allowed to ask a question. Should I ask a question?
More close to may I. This would be, ¿debería preguntar? ¿Tengo que preguntar? ¿Puedo preguntar? Am I allowed? All right. Good, guys. I'll share these with you. Remember to practice and complete. You can finish up your forum. You can even go ahead and do the exam. We'll have an exam review on the 12th of February. So that's our next class, the 12th. And then on 14 is the last day to do review 1 and 2. Stay safe. See you a couple Saturdays from now. Bye-bye.